The ocean is where our trash ultimately ends up.
I found an ice box.
Whoa! She's got a mini glacier.
And a pool noodle.
Fuck!
Look at this! Fuck!
This is how we feel about marine pollution.
A little sad.
Sad. Why does it make you sad?
There's just so much trash. There's so much plastic and microplastics. So it's sad.
Conservation scientist and also a vegan personal trainer. I'm currently in Thailand right now. I've been traveling for the past 4 months, and today I thought I would bring you guys along on an ocean cleanup that we did when I was living in Koh Tao, Thailand. So in this video we were doing a snorkel ocean cleanup around Koh Tao, and our goal was to go in and get as much trash out of the ocean as we could. We did this with the Coral Reef Conservation Program at the New Haven Dive School. And we gathered up a group of people, as many volunteers as we could, and had our captain take us to a local dive site. We removed all the floating and submerged trash from the ocean through snorkeling. We had a few people on kayaks. We just took big trash bags out there and our dive bags as well, and we just removed as much trash from the ocean as possible. It is so very important that we are putting energy towards cleaning up trash in the ocean. Why? Because the ocean is where our trash ultimately ends up. Whenever it rains, all the trash and the runoff goes into the ocean because the land is higher, mountains are higher, elevation is higher, and what's the bottom is sea level. So when we have storms, when we have rain, all this runoff just ends up running back into the ocean. Garbage in the ocean can cause physical damage to marine life. Things like plastic bottles, fishing nets, and fishing line can all entangle and trap fish, turtles, seahorses, jellyfish, sharks, you name it. It can trap all of them and entangle them and make them unable to swim and get away from predators or just starve to death. When we put our trash in the ocean, the trash itself has harsh chemicals and pollutants in it that actually leak out into the ocean water. And this can throw off sensitive chemical balances and lead to things like ocean acidification. Plastic floating in the ocean. It's clear, it's translucent, it's light color. It's often mistaken as food. And so when the marine life eat this plastic, it causes physical damage and poisoning to them on the inside. Another huge problem with plastic is that plastic is broken down into small, tiny little pieces, and these are called microplastics. These microplastics are extremely harmful. The number one problem right now in the ocean is microplastics, and we have all this research coming out about microplastics and how they're finding their way into the food web. And they actually end up getting inside of the marine life. This can seriously affect the food chain. And this means that basically every part of the food web is affected by these microplastics. From your apex predators like sharks, to your secondary consumers like whales, all the way down to your tiny filter feeders like clams, even down to your primary producers like algae and plankton. Researchers have found microplastics within all of these organisms. Just let that sink in for a second. It's even getting into the plants in the ocean. We actually have microplastics inside us. Scary, I know. So if you've recently eaten seafood, or not even seafood, but there's a lot in seafood, but basically all the food that we eat now has microplastics in them. So that is very scary, and we want to do our part in trying to keep plastic out of the ocean so that we can reduce these microplastics that are floating freely within the ocean. Okay, so let's do a quick little background lesson on the island of Koh Tao, which is where this video is filmed. Koh Tao is a tiny island off of the southeast coast of Thailand, and it's known for its breathtaking dive sites, which I have had the blessing to dive at, and also it's a beautiful tropical climate. So it's a very popular tourist destination for people like myself, for tourists, for scuba divers, and just for, you know, adventure seekers alike. Since the COVID pandemic struck the island in 2020, the island suffered a great economic loss due to the loss in tourism. So it's around this time that the waste management facility of the island actually stopped receiving funding from the government. And this is where Koh Tao's trash problem began. So there used to be machines, like a sorter and an incinerator on the island, along with a full staff that managed this waste management facility and actually packaged and got the trash ready to ship off to the mainland where it could be safely put in a landfill facility. Because Koh Tao doesn't have any landfills, and it doesn't actually have a working waste management system, there is a huge problem right now with the trash issue on Koh Tao. So what do they do with the trash? All the trash produced in Koh Tao is piled onto something called Trash Mountain. And I'm going to put some pictures up next for you guys.
Very. Because the wind is not blowing in the right way right now. Just piling up there when you think about trash go. Are there any projects? It's hard because.
So all the trash is piled onto Trash Mountain, and this is where it will stay until the next storm, when the waste and pollutions actually are washed down off of the mountain. And guess where they end up? I've already told you guys. That's right, in the ocean. And with each season passing from the pandemic, the island's actually getting busier and busier, which is fantastic from an economic standpoint, but the trash is accumulating more and more. And as the island gets more and more busy, more and more waste is being created. So when will Koh Tao fix this trash issue? And when will the government actually provide adequate funding to help the residents of Koh Tao deal with the waste that they're producing? These are the questions that we unfortunately don't know the answer to, but it's our responsibility as conservation scientists, as scuba divers, as tourists, as adventurers, and just as human beings to actually spread awareness about this issue and do the best that we can to prevent our waste from ending up back in the ocean. So now I will take you guys with me on our ocean cleanup that we did. I was actually injured this day and I couldn't participate in the snorkel, but I was on camera duty, so I vlogged the entire thing for you guys, and I have some voice in it that you guys can understand what we were doing. Okay, enjoy.
It's nice because if it's broke you can buy spare.
Guys, what are we doing today?
We're doing a cleanup, but the interns are very funny and they just touch my feet.
Doing a cleanup. There's not a lot of visible trash, but that's okay.
It's under.
We driving somewhere else though?
You want your fins?
No, I'm just doing a quick pan to the leg. This is what happens when you go too hard on the leg.
Does anyone else want their fins?
Nobody was there.
I'll wait till we get there. Well, I'm just driving that.
Maybe you want to pass me now, then if something's missing, you
Yeah.
can just give them a
So there you go. Baby's being bitchy.
Benny.
something's missing.
Well,
We'll find some.
Good morning. Miss Salome, we go?
Size, just like I go.
It's like 8 bags. Yeah.
Was there anything you'd like to say to the vlog, Joe?
Fuck you!
Human! Fuck! Look at this! Fuck! This is how we feel about marine pollution.
No.
I mean
No, I did.
That wasn't me. That was practice.
Yeah, girl, look at you. Yes, Andrea. Woo! Look at you go, Dory. Sad. Why does it make you sad?
There's just so much trash. There's so much plastic and microplastics. So it's sad.
And it's hard to remove, huh?
It's very hard to do, especially if they break down.
Yeah.
And just so small that you can barely see them.
It's very sad. Wow.
How many bags do you think that is?
I don't know. Count, Joe. Go on.
Don't you count?
How many?
Too many.
Too many. Look at that.
Sorry. I'm not a dolphin.
Hey, girl. What'd you get?
It's like a free float though. It smells like ass.
How did it go out there? How did it make you feel?
I want to cry. I need
Yeah.
a beer and then I'm going to cry.
Why does it make you feel like that?
Because I spent an hour and a half cleaning one hull of microplastics and it's like filled in typing bag and it's not made a dent.
Ugh.
And we already saw a dead dolphin.
And there's a dead dolphin with microplastics in it.
What?
You can see microplastics in the tissue.
A dolphin?
Dolphin.
Yeah.
Where?
And it's
Dead
little
one.
maggots got on my legs.
Ew.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's so sad.
Yeah. Khan like tried to bring it back, but it's
I didn't know they had dolphins in Koh Tao. Interesting.
neither did I.
Learn something new every day, right, Salome?
Found a nice
Whoa, she's got a mini glacier.
and a pool poodle.
Where? What even is that?
I don't know. It's styrofoam and fishing net.
We could.
Ready?
That's satisfying. Yay, Beth. Yay, Captain. So much trash. All this trash is just from that thing right there. It's crazy.
It's so crazy being able to see all the trash we took out of the ocean, and that wasn't even all of it. Like, you could hear my friends explaining that there was way more in there, but we just simply didn't have the manpower to remove it all. We were actually able to remove an entire boat's worth of trash from the ocean, so this was at least 25 plus large, extra large black heavy-duty garbage bags full of trash from the ocean. There was everything from like old flip-flops, water bottles, fishing lines, ropes, nets, lots of single-use plastics like chips, packages. There was even a giant piece of styrofoam that you guys saw, and there was a dead dolphin, which is really sad. This trash actually smelled really, really bad, something that the video doesn't portray. When the trash is floating in the ocean, organisms, algae, plants, all these things get trapped in this trash and they're not able to move around, and they actually die there and they start decaying. So this is why the trash smells so bad, because it's full of dead things. What did we do with all the trash? We packaged it up, we brought it off the boat back to our dive school, and then, you guessed it, we sent it off to Trash Mountain. So because there's actually nothing else that we could do with it, that's the best that we could do with the trash in this situation. At least it's out of the ocean. We made sure that it was packaged to the best of our ability, securely within trash bags, to minimize the trash actually running back into the ocean in the future. So hopefully, as you can see in this video, the trash wasn't visible from the boat, but once you got out there, there was so much. And I wish that I was able to bring my camera out there and show you guys what the trash looked like firsthand, you know, from the dive site, like if I was in the water. But my camera's not waterproof, so I didn't. But as my friend said, there was so much trash there, they were feeling so overwhelmed, and like there was no possible way for us to even be able to remove all that trash. Like it was impossible. And it was really frustrating, and it's actually really, really sad. It's so sad when you see this stuff firsthand. I spent my time on the boat actually having to package all this trash that they brought up in the dive bags and everything and put it into garbage bags. And as I'm putting this trash in the bags, I'm sitting there and I'm just thinking, okay, we're putting the trash in the garbage bag and we're gonna bring it back to the trash mountain. What happens in the next couple of years? All this trash we spent all this time removing is actually going to find its way back into the ocean. But quickly, I just want to tell you guys what matters the most, and the point I'm trying to make with this video is that we did as much as we could, and that's what matters. It's so important that we are able to get out into our community and just do as much as we can to the best of our ability. It's only through a combined effort, through all of us working together as a team, that we're even going to be able to try and put a dent in the problem that is waste. The problem that we have created, which is putting so much waste out into the system and not having enough resources to be able to break it down and deal with it. So I know this seems really depressing and sad, but that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is just to give you guys a first-hand view on what it looks like in a place like Thailand, which is very much so affected by marine waste, trash, and pollution. Because Thailand actually lacks the infrastructure. You know, it's really sad when you see the waste that affects people firsthand. People in Thailand depend on the ocean for their food. This is called sustainable harvesting, and it's when you use the food from your local community in order to support and feed your local community. So if the ocean is becoming polluted with our waste and their waste, but also trash floating from other countries and taken by the current and swept up onto the beach of Koh Tao, you can see how this would cause a huge problem. It's killing the marine life, first of all, and it's also limiting the ability for them to actually harvest from the ocean and able to feed their own communities. So, what can you do to help? What are some things that you can do in your everyday life that will actually make a difference? Don't worry, I'm here to help. The first thing you can do, which I think is the most important thing, and after I started implementing this into my daily life, I just never noticed how much. Let me just say it. Okay, the first thing that you can do is limit your single-use plastics. This is, seriously, I think it's the most important thing. What is single-use plastic? Single-use plastic is plastic that has been created with the intention of convenience and to use only a couple, or most of the time just once, and then to just be thrown away. When you go and you get takeout, you get takeaway Thai food, and you say, I want it all to go, okay? And you get your food, and it's given to you in styrofoam containers, and you have plastic forks and spoons and knives, and then you have it all wrapped up in a plastic bag. Like, here you go. They're like, thank you. And it's super convenient, but you're only using that stuff for about 30 minutes while you eat your food, or until you actually get your food home to your house and you put it on a plate, and then you use your actual fork, and then you just throw the rest of it away. That is called single-use plastic. So when I became aware of how much single-use plastic I was using, it shocked me. I started paying attention to how much trash I was producing and how many times I was taking out the trash a week. And I remember in college is when I first started thinking about this. So it was only me living by myself, and I was the only one producing the trash. I remember starting to pay attention to how many times I took out the trash, like a full bag of trash bag a week. And I remember at one point, I was taking out the trash like 2 to 3 times a week. I had a full trash bag, like a full-size trash bag full of basically just plastic. And it was just me. I was the only one making that trash. And so that's when I actually saw the effect that I was having on the environment firsthand with my own eyes. And it was actually then that I realized that I need to stop using so much single-use plastic. What you can do instead, you can actually get your own takeaway containers, glass Tupperwares, or you can bring these to restaurants and you can say, I want some takeaway food, instead of them having to give you, you know, your own bag. You can also get reusable shopping bags. These are my favorite things ever. Let me show you guys mine. Hold on. Okay, you can also get reusable shopping bags. I got here in Koh Tao. It says no nature, no future. I actually brought like 3 of these with me, and I use them all the time, especially when you're traveling. You can use them for the beach, you can use them for going grocery shopping, all the above. I know plastic bags can be useful sometimes, but honestly, in this day and age, there's really no need for us to have so many plastic bags. Also, what you can do is you can get a reusable metal straw. Let me show you mine. Ta-da! I travel with this. My mom got this for me. Thank you, Kathy, if you're watching. And I use it all the time, and it collapses like this, and I bring it with me to restaurants so I don't have to use a straw. Another thing you can do is you can bring your own reusable coffee cup, like I have here. Okay, and it keeps my green tea cold, and this is what I use it for, and when I go traveling. Also, get a reusable water bottle. I promise you that I've only had to buy a plastic bottle a few times here in Thailand, and every time I did, it hurt my heart so much. Because you're buying that plastic bottle and you're drinking out of it, and then you throw it away. And then until you've seen the amount of plastic bottles I've seen us remove them from the ocean, and it's crazy to think that we use this plastic bottle for maybe what, an hour? 1 hour, and then it's left in the ocean. Side note, did you know that it takes 450 years for a plastic bottle to break down in the environment? Think about that. So the second thing that you can do to help reduce your trash production in your own home is you can recycle when you can. This one seems obvious, but it's actually really important. So in your local community, if you're so lucky to have a recycling program, that's amazing. Take advantage of this. Just make sure that you're sorting your trash accordingly. Sorting out your plastics, sorting out your cardboards, anything that can be recycled, do it, especially if you have it available to you. I know it's just that one extra step, having to sort through your trash, but once you get going, once you get in the hang of it, I promise it won't be that hard, and you'll really be helping the environment out as well. The third thing that you can do is something that I call being a responsible consumer. So this kind of ties back into my story about my trash bags when I was in college. Responsible consumerism basically means that you are a consumer, but you're thinking about the effect that this product is going to have on the planet before you decide to go out and buy it. I think today we live in a society where consumerism is so convenient. It's right there, it's in front of us. We're always take because it's there, and we're not actually thinking about the long-term effect that whatever we're buying is going to have on the planet. So for example, before you go out and buy that 3rd bottle of dish soap or hand soap for the month, think about that plastic bottle. Maybe you could get a bar of soap instead, or maybe you could get a refill, so you can be refilling that plastic bottle instead of having to go out and buy a new plastic bottle, which is then going into your trash, or your recycling hopefully, but then it's going to take 450 years to break down, because not a lot of our recycled plastic actually gets turned back into plastic, just to let you know. Being a responsible consumer, taking that extra couple minutes to actually think about the effect that your purchase is going to have on the planet can really help. The 4th thing is to pick up trash when you can. If you see trash on the ground, just pick it up. I know it sounds really simple, but I see a lot of people just walk by trash. I'm guilty of it. I definitely just walk by trash sometimes. But other times I stop and I'm like, you know what? It would take me 4 seconds to pick up this trash and put it in the trash can. But do you know the effect that this has? The effect that picking up that piece of trash is actually a lot bigger than you think. If you see someone pick up a piece of trash and put that trash in the trash can, you're probably going to think to yourself, wow, that's really cool that that person did that. And then you're going to be thinking about that, and you're actually going to be more inspired and inclined to go out and pick up a piece of trash later. This brings me to my 5th point. And my 5th point is my favorite point, and that is to lead by example. If you're out making conscious consumerism choices, the likelihood that the people immediately around you are going to see you actively making these small choices, that's going to rub off on them. By you going out and making these choices, by picking up the trash, by taking the time to think before you buy, by recycling, by doing these things, these small things that require a little bit of effort, the people closest to you are going to see that, and they might be influenced by you or inspired by you, and they might think, hey, maybe it's a bit easier for me to do that too. Leading by example, especially in the vegan community, in the conservation community, is one of the most powerful things that you can do. Instead of telling someone to go do something, just show them how easy it is, and then maybe they'll try it too. Okay, so the 6th thing that you can do, and this one's a little bit harder, but If you're so lucky to have any type of recycling program or cleanup program or any type of green community in your local community, you can go out and get involved in that. It's a lot easier to practice healthy habits when you are around people that are doing the same thing. It's also a great way to make friends and a great way to network. For example, if you live by a park or if you live by a beach, and there is a group of people that go out on the weekends and they clean up trash on the beach or in this park, or they go to the park and they plant flowers, or they weed the garden, and they do something together as a team, you can go out and you can get involved in that too. If you live in an area that actually doesn't have anything like this, why don't you go and start it? I know it seems hard, but all it takes is that one person who cares to inspire other people to start. If you can actually be the person to inspire change, to inspire positive change to people around you, I think that is one of the most powerful things you can do. Okay guys, thank you so much for being here. I really hope you enjoyed this video. It was actually really sad and difficult for me to look back on this, but also it was actually really inspiring. I really enjoyed making this video for you guys, especially writing stuff out. I feel like I haven't tapped into my conservation mindset in a while. I actually have a master's degree in conservation science from the University of Queensland, with a focus in marine science, so making videos like this is something I really enjoy, and I hope that you guys actually got a lot out of it and learned something new and are able to apply something to your everyday life. I do hope that this has inspired you in some way to go out and make a change, and just remember that it's our collective group effort that's actually going to make the most change. So do what you can to positively inspire the people around you, and just know that even the smallest thing, like maybe not buying a plastic bottle of water tomorrow, that makes a difference. And that's something that you should be proud of. Thank you so much for being here, guys. If you enjoyed this or found this helpful, please make sure you share this video, send it to your friends. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel so you don't miss anything. And also give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Leave a comment. Just let me know what you guys think. Don't forget that you are capable of whatever you set your mind to. And that's something so powerful I think a lot of people overlook. All the power that you need is actually right there within you. Hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye! And even down to your primary